A couple of weeks ago, I, a strong Christian man, was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. How do I handle it spiritually and physically? We'll talk about that today on the Two Williams podcast. Boom, 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 boom.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Two Williams podcast. I'm William Henley.
And I'm a grooving out William Quinn. How you doing today, William?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Pretty good. It could be better because of the topic we're going to be talking about today, but, I'm in good spirits. I hope what we're going to share today, I hope maybe somebody that's maybe going through this can benefit from and maybe learn some lessons spiritual-wise and physically-wise. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish today.
Yeah, so obviously there's something on your heart, your mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
You've had some bad medical news.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It was something I was really trying hard not to get. I was working out. I was exercising. I was walking 2 miles a day every morning. And just all of a sudden, my numbers got too high and I got it. So, and I'm going to be honest with you, it was a shock to the system. I did tear up a little bit. No, take that back. I teared up a lot when it happened because, the shock of it was bad, And then, because my initial thought was, if you had diabetes, you had it, period. You couldn't get rid of it. I didn't know later on that type 2 was reversible. So I just, that gave me some hope, to, get healthier and to eat better and to exercise more. One good thing that did come out of this experience, I did lose 30 pounds. My father had too about 20, 25 years ago. I asked him if he ever lost some weight through this. He said no. So that right there is a plus so far. What I've been told is the more weight you lose, the better chance you have of reversing it. So what would your thoughts be on that, you think?
Well, of course, I certainly need to, and you know what, we're in the wide shot. I'm certainly someone who needs to lose a few pounds.
Right.
And sorry for anyone who's sensitive to a guy showing off his gut, but,
yeah.
Here's the thing is this is life. Now, I'll tell you something. I was the scrawny, skinny kid who could not gain a pound to save my life.
I was that to extent when I was a kid too. So
yeah, and I was probably about 27, 28, and it's like within a matter of 6 months, I put on 60 pounds. And didn't know what was going on, it's like, yeah, I needed to put on some weight, but it's like within 6 months I went from being 120 to 180, and I'm like, okay, 180 is a healthy weight, and then I just kept going. And here's the thing is my diet didn't change. My activity level didn't change.
Let me ask you something about your diet right quick. What were you eating healthy usually, or were you eating just whatever you could?
That's a tough question. Usually when I'm asked that, it's like, I wouldn't say I'm eating unhealthy.
Gotcha.
I would definitely say lots of carbs.
Yeah.
I definitely like my enchiladas and I like my pastas.
Yeah. My thing is with carbs now is, since I have to watch those, I did have a little bit of carbs a day. I try not to eat any carbs at all, like after 12 noon or after the afternoon, or if I'm gonna eat carbs, it's kind of gonna be like rice or oats. So I like rice a lot. I would take rice over pasta pretty much. So
I hate rice. Hate rice.
if it's cooked right, I think you could like coconut rice. You can try coconut rice, basmati rice. That
Mm.
would I can see you liking that. That would be good.
I do like sticky rice. Of course, that's probably one of the worst types of rice you can eat.
Yeah. We eat kind of sticky rice too, like brown rice. We mix it with some brown rice and some wild rice, which is good.
No, I can
So
stomach a brown white rice.
yeah, it's a little bit chewier, but it's got a good texture. So anyway, I just when I got the initial news that I was type 2 diabetes, I mean, it hurts. Just 'cause you work so hard, try not that to happen, and all of a sudden you get hit with that news now. Now you got to start square one again, try to eat as healthier, not even either that as more healthier than you did before. There was an article put out by the Gospel Coalition about 3 years ago in April of 2016. It was written by a Baptist pastor in Houston by the name of Josh Philpott. It's entitled 7 Ways to Live with Diabetes to the Glory of God, which piqued my interest, so I went ahead and looked at it, and basically gives some guidelines physically and spiritually how to deal with a disease that is particular to a diabetic. So one thing he labeled it as an unhealthy pursuit. Basically, in the article, which I'll go through right quick, through the diabetes diagnosis initially, it led me to a disciplined, healthy lifestyle. That mindset quickly dissipated. More and more, I let food become a controlling factor in my life, shaping my decisions. I keep track of my disease to see doctors regularly, but often disregarded the diet altogether. I took what I wanted, when I wanted, with no regard to the consequences. In other words, I pursued instant gratification if I was hungry. I was hungry for something a diabetic shouldn't have, and since I could take it, I did. Like Adam and Eve in the garden, I saw the fruit was pleasurable and it would make me wise. In this case, it satisfies appetite. So I can see that going through a lot of diabetics' minds.
Right.
Definitely. And he took it over and over to his demise. So that's pretty interesting. I think, especially my case when I had pre-diabetes, I thought I could do enough just to get by and, do the fun stuff also. But eventually that did lead to a consequence of me getting full-blown diabetes. So
Well, let me, I guess before we go on with that, because I have a question for you. I know there's been times I've gone in, I've had high blood sugar. Of course, it's because I forgot to fast that morning, but the doctor's like, oh, well, you're like pre-diabetes and stuff. I usually blow it off because I forgot to fast that morning. But I guess one of the things I've noticed is I don't eat a lot of breads. I mean, every now and then I'll have pasta or something like that, but I don't eat a lot of breads. I don't eat a lot of sugars. I actually have issues with low blood sugar and stuff like that. I actually had to get a blood glucose meter because people kept saying to me, oh, you're acting weird, you're acting weird. And I'll sit here and take my blood glucose level and I'll be like at a 61 or something like that. So what are your thoughts on that?
people are made different. I mean, God created people differently. I think your case, um, maybe just a little sugar could help you, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if a sugar substitute would be good, maybe. I don't know if that would help any. Um,
Wonder if sugar substitutes affect your blood sugar level.
that's what I was thinking too. I mean, if it's like a natural sugar substitute, it'd probably be better, maybe. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Maybe like eat more fruits.
I'm big at eating fruits now. Blueberries especially.
Yeah, you see, I've always been a veggie person. It's once again back to the idea of I'm not big on sweetness. And now the thing is I am good on juices and stuff, but once again, I'll normally grab a V8 before I'll go grabbing an apple juice.
Yeah. I can see that. I guess maybe your taste buds maybe are different from others. Maybe you don't have your sweet glands maybe are not as good as maybe others maybe. That's my guess probably. Back to this article right quick. The pastor that wrote this, from what I'm reading, it helped him spiritually. When it pretty much showed him, that his sin was exposed to gluttony, and it made me woke up and it gave him a sense of urgency to make this a spiritual issue rather than just a physical issue. Some bullet points he made through this article the first one was, God gave me diabetes. And he looked at Psalm 63:1, which was a prayer for a diabetic, which I found really interesting. I'll read that to you right now. Oh God, my soul thirsts for you. My flesh longs for you. I know and then he basically used that to balance his everyday dietary choices, and it will leave me ultimately unsatisfied by the promise of earthly pleasure. Bread doesn't satisfy the longing of my heart. God does.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow. That's definitely something to think about. God gave me diabetes. That's certainly...
That's very revelatory right there. That's like a revelation there.
Let me have you, on those tabs up there, click over to Bible Gateway real quick.
Okay.
I just had a question for you, especially after reading this. One of the things, especially with us being charismatics, and you hear this a lot from the Pentecostals, I kind of want to figure out how we're going to sit here and tie this in to what we know out of Psalm 103. Starting in verse 2, let all that I am praise the Lord. May I never forget the good things he has done for me. He forgives all my sins, and he heals all my diseases. He redeems me from death and crowns me with the love and tender mercies. He fills my life with good things. My youth is renewed like an eagle's. And so, I guess, how do you tie in this here verse out of Psalms with Psalm 103 when, we're promised that God heals all of our diseases and he fills our life with good things and stuff like that?
I look at one thing I look at, the last part of verse 5, my youth is renewed like the eagles. I look at that maybe as a cry to maybe, since we're renewed, we have another chance to make everything right as far as healthy choices, healthy eating habits, healthy exercising, and then healthy spiritual, wake up in the morning, reading the word, praying, meditating on the Holy Spirit. I look at that as your youth being renewed as a means to have a second chance of getting that back again. All those aspects.
Good way to look at it. I've never heard that viewpoint, but yeah. And I think we need to sit here and realize from this verse, not everyone is healed at a healing service. I have been healed at a healing service. Dealt with muscle issues for 9 years, and no doctor could tell me what was wrong. Went to a healing service, and boom, it was gone. But not everyone is. Okay, I don't know if you know this girl from our church, but her name is Jolene. And I'm sure she's not going to feel bad about me pulling up her page. In fact, I would love to have Jolene on here someday and her dad to talk about her story. But she has this disease,
Spinal Muscular Atropy.
I'll tell you. Let me go back to this picture real quick. Okay. I don't know if you can notice on the back of her chair, but I mean, it's just covered in Bible verses and everything else. Yeah. This girl has faith that God's going to heal her. She's been practically front and center of every single Saturday service at one of the Gateway campuses. This girl has faith that, God's going to sit here and cure her. I can almost guarantee you won't find someone who has better faith than Jolene does. So it's just her and her dad. Yet this girl has faith and she has joy of life.
She has a faith of a mustard seed. And that's important. You know the story about the mustard seed. If you have the faith in the smallest things, God can bless that. I see God blessing her heart 100% clearly. Even if she doesn't get healed, let's just say she doesn't get healed, God's still going to bless her. God's good. I mean,
And if you look at her Facebook page, I mean, her heart is blessed. She has love, she has joy.
in fact, I'm going to add her right now, actually.
Add her as a friend, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry to sidetrack you here, but as we can see, you know, God doesn't necessarily heal everyone. So it's definitely interesting that this article he talks about God giving him diabetes. It's literally a mind-blowing revelation.
Yeah.
Especially those of us who well, I call myself charismatic. I tend to be more of the center between I guess what I want to say your uh fundamentalist and your Pentecostals. I feel
like very balanced in between those two.
I feel like
I can see that. I can see that in you pretty much. So.
But you know, I heard people from the Pentecostal backgrounds, and not all Pentecostals, but I've heard people sit here and talk about, oh well, obviously you must be doing something wrong, or God wouldn't have allowed this to happen to you, or God would have healed you, or something like that. So this is a very eye-opening revelation from this pastor here.
Another thing he puts in the article is that, you know, one of the other points, point number 6 he puts in there, which is taking insulin every day is a reminder God provides for all my needs. That is a very interesting.
Whoa. Okay, so
that's like for me, it's pills, you know, right now, but I don't want to get to insulin. I think if I'm taking pills every day and I just keep healthy and losing weight, I'll be fine, you know.
Right. Well, just think about this for a minute, though, because, I mean, if you have to take insulin every day, then, yes, you're trusting in this drug to sit here and keep you alive. What a great reminder as well to go to God every day for our needs.
Exactly. That's a great way to look at it. You know, I look at this pastor as surviving with diabetes, not letting diabetes take control of him. He's surviving, and, you know, he's claiming this in the name of the Father, which is awesome. That's a great viewpoint to have. That's a great way to look at life, not just for diabetes, but just in life in general. You know, having this mountain in front of us, or any mountain in front of us, you know, God can move mountains. He's not a respecter of persons. He can move any type of mountain, period. If we just let him, if we just obey in him and just let him move those mountains. You know, not our own strength, but in his strength. So any mountain, even diabetes, like any type of, you know, financial, any type of, you know, health, any type of health reason, any type of spiritual blindness, let God move that mountain. Let's try not to do it ourselves. Let God move that mountain for us, and he'll take us to paths we can never imagine even obtain on our own.
Well, this sounds like a subject that we should come back to, because there's a lot of revolutionary things here. Unfortunately, we're out of time for today's episode, so let's definitely come back to this topic later on. I need time to process this. This is revolutionary to me. And it's like, I don't even have diabetes. But this is just, it's mind-blowing. And so, yeah, let's definitely come back to this on a future episode. Final thoughts.
I just know what I have to do now. And then, as far as my condition, I'm going to survive this. I'm going to get through this with God's help. You know, and knowing, you know, what this pastor went through, anything's possible. I can beat this. I know with God's help I can beat this. I'm going to survive this. And I'm going to live to tell my kids, you know, how to have a healthy lifestyle and just have a healthy mindset to control what I eat, what I do, and what I do physically and spiritually. So I'm going to leave it there.
So definitely we're over time on this episode. Usually we won't be, even with the edits, we're still going to be over time. We're normally not going to go this long, but you know what? This is a web show, so if we don't hit that 23-minute mark every week, it's okay.
Yeah.
one of the things, before you guys go, want to ask you guys to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. That'll definitely help YouTube in recommending us to other people when they're doing keyword searches. If you'll click on that bell notification, you'll get a notification. Those of you listening on the audio podcast, sit here and give us a subscribe. I do get to see the number of individual views and stuff. I know how many subscribers we have now versus the number of views we're getting. It's definitely disjointed. I'll tell you one of the good things I've noticed, and wow, this episode's going to be long.
That's okay. Hey, preach, brother Wood. Go right ahead, man.
One of the things I am noticing is that our viewer retention rate has gone up. On the first episode, most people were watching for about 30 seconds to a minute. On the second episode, where I just had the still frame up, people were watching for about 2 minutes. Now, on the audio podcast, people were listening to everything. But once we've put in some money and... oh gosh, I'm going to get into preaching right here.
Go for it.
Okay, so once I sit here and invested, and yes, it cost me some money up front. And here's the thing is as of today, when we are filming this, our videos are averaging about 50 views each. We have three subscribers. We have about 10 people listening to the podcast every week. Now, this is still good. I mean, we're just getting started. But
it takes baby steps, and we're starting those baby steps right now. And I like these baby steps we're taking so far. So we're gonna try to get this quality good, and then we're gonna make you guys have a product that you guys will want to listen to, and let your friends want to listen to also. Right.
Now, where I'm going with this is we made a total of 17 cents off of sponsors. We do have a place where you can donate if you want to, but here's the point is we had to make an investment up front for something that we weren't even sure was anyone was going to watch. I've spent probably right now about $400 to $500 on video and lighting equipment. William here spent probably about $150 on the audio equipment. This was definitely an investment and stuff we had to put in. And I think this is going to be true to anything, whether diet or exercise or stuff. You're going to have to put in a commitment and stuff like that, saying, you know what? I don't know what the end result is going to be. I'm not sure if this is going to do any good, but it's like, I won't know unless I try.
Right.
And so I'm going somewhere with this. Suddenly, I'm just not sure how I'm going to wrap it up.
Edit.
Yeah. Edit. You know what? Maybe I don't know where I'm going to go with this. Maybe I don't know the point I'm trying to make.
I think I know what. If you guys are listening to this out there or watching, prayerfully consider supporting us financially, or with prayer or financially. So I think making an investment in this show will help give you guys a better product, better topics, and better understanding of how we want to view the gospel and give it to others. So that's what I want to lead to in this show. So
yeah, and I definitely agree, because this show's not always going to be us talking. We have guests lined up for interviews. We have missionaries and pastors, and sometimes just, regular Joe Blow who has an amazing story.
And some everyday people that you might not know that are out there that might want to be on. I know some people personally that I've talked to that want to be on the show, either live through us or through Skype or for phones, or we have those options also. So
my friend Evelyn Brooks has mentioned that she wants to be on the show. I have a friend who's a missionary in Russia. I was trying to schedule a time with him, but the thing is right now it is 3:30 in the morning there. So it's definitely something we're going to have to schedule with them.
And I've got a friend named Tim Clund who who's a former I think an Air Force vet, or well, it's one of the services, I can't remember, but he does like celebrity softball games like every Memorial Day weekend, and also the weekend of the Texas OU game. He raises money for the troops. I think so. He's expressed interest in being on the show too. Also,
we could almost make a whole other show about stuff we have coming up.
Yeah.
Let's see, my friend Tim Allen, I want to get him on the show sometime. Not the comedian, he is from the UK. He has an amazing story. He just started seminary this last spring. I want to get my friend Andrew Haskell on here. He is a Messianic Jew. He has an amazing testimony. I got friends in Switzerland who, you know what, they're not even pastors or in ministry or anything, but they have an amazing story. I got a friend who's a pastor of a church in Salzburg. I got singer-songwriters, and this is just ideas of things we want to bring to you in the future.
Well, let's go ahead and just wrap it up here. And I know we get excited, but let's just go ahead and just wrap it up here and just say great working with you today again, William, and we'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Bye.